night to Raunchy Ramblings podcast. Uninformed and unprepared is going to be the new slogan, which Nick and Colton. Which one of you all actually came up with that? Was it both of you?
Nick.
It was Nick. Okay.
Yeah, I just agreed with it.
So that's probably the perfect slogan we've got for this. And yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about haunted places.
Yeah.
So this was Colton's idea. So here in just a moment, we're going to have Colton take off with it. And so yeah, basically what we're doing is each of us for each of our states, Kentucky, Texas, and Ohio, we are going to talk about the most haunted places per se in each state. So Colton,
I didn't know about that part.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I didn't do my homework.
You know what I just realized though? Like by the time we get into like episode 20, we're going to have a shit ton of information about the states Kentucky, Ohio, and Texas.
Yeah.
And the three most like most least like paid attention state. Well, Texas.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe not Texas, but definitely Ohio and Kentucky.
Yeah.
Definitely our states.
It's actually just 40 to 45 minutes away from me, and it's the Ohio State Reformatory. But for me, it's called, because I've always called
it it's called home.
I was waiting to hear something like that.
I call it the Mansfield Reformatory because it's in Mansfield, and I'm only used to that name. But anyway, it's very creepy, and you probably saw it in like the Shawshank Redemption because a lot of that was filmed there, like the exterior shots. There's so many aspects of it that are haunted because apparently there's been like 200 some deaths in that prison. Like some of them died from like diseases and stuff like the flu and like other prominent diseases at that time from
coronavirus.
Yeah. We both did it.
Probably.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton has definitely caused a few, at least one death we know in prison.
Most haunted areas was a dude that set himself on fire. He snuck in, like, what is it? Lighter fluid or stuff like that. Doused himself in it, lit himself on fire in the cell, and people just watch him burn because they couldn't find the key. Yeah.
I wonder what his charges were, because I feel like, and this is going to be probably a controversial statement I'm going to make, but I want to say if it was some really fucked up crime he did, that's just kind of karma coming back to play.
Actually, no, it was he was arrested and put there for assault with the attempt to murder, with the intent to murder. So it's nothing too bad, but they say on this one article it said by the time the guards got to him, it was too late and his skin was already falling off in chunks.
Damn.
He haunts the cell where he died, sometimes showing himself to visitors.
That's
like
some raunchy
like
ramblings.
Showing himself, like as in like throwing his dick out, like his ghost dick out, or just like showing like himself, like in like what do you mean by showing himself?
Probably an apparition, or just like touches him on the shoulder or something like that.
Touches him on the shoulder with his dick?
Yeah. What do you think? Maybe. I don't know. You can't see.
Could you imagine though, if you were like a full-fledged ghost, you could just pull that hog shit out and just throw it everywhere you want. You could slap someone in the face with it. They're not gonna know.
Yeah.
Oh, they touched me, but you don't know what they touched.
Yeah, you don't know what they
with.
touched you with. You have no idea. That's kind of fucked up. Like, can you imagine just sitting and literally watching someone in a cage just burning to death?
Yeah.
And
I don't know. Like, okay, so I used to work in in corrections, and I'm trying to wonder how they couldn't.
What haven't you done, Chris?
There's a lot.
I used to be a security guard at Best Buy.
Best Buy.
I used to work in corrections.
But anyway, it is hard to not get into someone's cell. Now, granted, I don't know when this was, but nowadays it's all, through a control panel. There's not really keys involved. There are some, but not a lot. So maybe back then it was just keys and they were fumbling around like, where the fuck's the key? This guy's face is melting off.
Jeez. And then there's this other story. So the wife of the warden in 1950 was killed. She was reaching up for like a jewelry box on the top shelf, knocked off a gun and shot herself with it when it hit the floor.
What?
Wait, hold on. She shot herself with a gun that fell on the floor.
Yeah, she bumped it off the shelf, I believe, and it hit the floor and went off and shot her.
Was this a prisoner or was this a worker?
No, she was the wife of the warden.
I don't know, man. We just talked about conspiracy theories, and I kind of smell one brewing right there. That seems a little odd. That's just my opinion.
Her rose-scented perfume wafts from the bathroom she once occupied.
Mhm.
At least it's roses and not, you know. Never mind. I could have said something really fucking raunchy, but
some doo-doo butter.
Some duck butter.
Oh boy.
We'll head to Kentucky next. Now, I think the most famous one, obviously, is Waverly Hills Sanatorium. So I don't know how famous it is outside of Kentucky, but it's really famous.
Very famous, dude.
Yeah.
It was on several fucking ghost hunter shows.
There you
and
go.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
So I've actually been to Waverly Hills Sanatorium. So I've been there. It is as creepy as it looks in person.
Were you a fucking? Did you work there?
No, I did not. That is the one place in the state that I have not worked. No, but yeah, if you look up pictures of it, it looks just as creepy in the pictures as it does in real life. So they're not shitting you when they show you these pictures. They're not edited. That's just what it looks like. So half of the windows are missing. There's the inside just about completely gutted. But anyway, for those of you that don't know, Waverly Hills was a tuberculosis hospital. So back when tuberculosis, like in the fucking, when was it, like 1920s or some shit, was really bad, a lot of fucking people died there. And they don't do this anymore, but they used to do this on tour. So you can tour the place, and apparently everyone who tours it claims that, you know, they get hit with something, they hear noises, they see, you know, shadows and all kinds of shit. But they have something called the tuberculosis chute. So it's where they had so many deaths that they had to literally just throw people down a slide into a death pit.
Dude,
so
like, that would be my favorite last ride.
Yeah.
Just riding down a slide.
And you got to imagine some of them probably, I don't even know if all of them were absolutely dead yet. They were probably close and they're like, fuck it, just slide them down. So they used to let tour groups slide. Obviously, it's been sanitized at this point. You can't catch TB from it, but well, they claim. But you used to be able to take a ride down that slide. I didn't do that because I'm just not that much of an adventurer, and I don't want, you know, God knows how many souls to stick to me on the way out of there. But yeah, so apparently it's one of the, and it claims on here it's one of the most haunted places in the world, if not just the United States. So literally thousands of people died there, and these were not great deaths either. I mean, you got to think it's a sanatorium, so it's already a little shady and it's already kind of shitty. And then you've got, you know, really sick people with a very serious disease back then that are just sitting in here just suffering and dying. So yeah, most people say if you die while suffering, you're probably going to haunt a few people.
Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off.
Yeah, I would definitely slap my dick in people's faces if I died in a sanatorium with tuberculosis. So yeah, that's one of mine. We'll get to the others later, but yeah, it's a very interesting place. I've visited it once, actually no, twice. I've been twice. And they actually have tours where you can stay overnight. I don't know who the fuck would do that. I feel like Nick definitely would.
I kind of would have.
I'm not staying. I would. Okay, so if all three of us go there, I would stay overnight then. But only if I had like 3 or 4 people with me. There's no fucking way I'm staying there overnight with like just myself or one other person. There's just no way. Now we're gonna head over to the big ass state of Texas and see what Nick's got ready for us.
Over in the Lone Star State, we're gonna start with one that's kind of, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it necessarily tame. But it's one that I actually have friends that have gone there and have confirmed that it's fucked up. And the building looks really fucked up too. It's the Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up. Baker Hotel.
Yeah. So it's down and it's actually it's weird. Like Mineral Wells is, I mean, a fairly small town, and this one hotel, I guess it is. That's a huge motherfucker, but this hotel literally fucking dwarfs everything in that city. Like you can see that hotel at any point in the town. It's a hotel that looks like it would be in fucking like in downtown Dallas.
It's ugly as shit.
Yeah, it's fucking freaky looking, ain't it?
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, it's freaky looking.
Yeah, we'll pull up a picture here.
So it's basically just for those of you who can't see, it's basically a big square that kind of bows out to the right and to the left a little bit. So it almost looks like bat wings in a sense.
Well, I'm gonna pull up a picture of it for mine.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy.
I love my guys and gals.
Look, damn it, I could do it too. Here, I've got it up.
Hold on. Well, here, we'll do this. We'll go to the.
So here it is. Yeah, we're looking at it right now. So yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy.
Up. Okay, so there it is. That's the Baker Hotel. And but yeah, it looks like it was built in 1929. And like James said, their big attraction was while they were open, they had I guess the swimming pool was filled with like mineral rich water, hence Mineral Wells, Texas, because they have like high mineral content water.
Fucking mineral water's oily as shit. Why the hell would you want to swim in that?
Well, because they said it had healing properties.
Oh, great.
It was thought to have had extreme healing properties. So the elderly, the sick, the dying, and shit would go to this hotel to dip in the pool to try to heal themselves. And not surprisingly, not long after would end up dying, and they think that they would go back and haunt the hotel,
right?
And all that. Another aspect. Damn it, I got off the page now. But oh, dude. There's a little a motel here at on Route 66 where there are bullet holes where Bonnie and Clyde had a standoff with the Amarillo police still on the walls.
Sweet.
Wait,
yeah.
Where was their final shootout where they got like 100 bullets in
I'm about to say, I don't know, but that car like got
dead.
Fucked. Yeah. That car got fucked.
I don't know where that was at, but
I'm intrigued.
I guess like the thing with the Baker Hotel also was there was a woman that jumped from one of the balconies that was like, I guess, emotionally distraught, and they say that they see an apparition of a bloody woman walking around the halls.
That would freak me out.
Hotel.
Yeah, that would be.
It's one thing to see a woman ghost, or like just to see a ghost in general, but to see a bloody one would really fuck me up. I feel like a lot of older hotels are just naturally haunted. They just are by nature. It's like, oh, you're an old, at least early 1900s built hotel, you get a ghost. It's like it comes with a package or something.
Yeah.
Because
it's like they have to like plan it into the plans. Like the architects, okay, well this fucking room right here is gonna be the ghost room, so we're gonna.
It's like yeah, we'll make this room. We'll make it where ghosts dabble into shit. Fun story. So and I've already told you all about this job, so don't give me shit about another job. When I was security at Marriott. Yeah. So that the one we have here is it's like 15 stories, but they don't have a they don't have a 13th floor.
Yeah, that's a thing in a lot of buildings.
Yeah, they don't do that, obviously, just because they're like, well, this bitch is already going to be haunted because that's where I saw the fucking ghost. But it's like, let's not put a 13th floor just in case someone gets their asses murdered by some ghost dick.
A lot of places will actually do they'll double up on that, like to where a lot of places will sit there and just like not have the floor numbered the 13th floor, but it is the 13th floor.
Right.
It'll jump straight from 12 to 14, but you're really on 13.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of buildings that they take the actual 13th floor and make it just nothing but mechanical rooms and bullshit where nobody can really get access to it.
Yep.
If I'm running a hotel, I'm advertising that 13th floor.
See, if I'm going to do all the floors, we're going to be the 13th floor.
It's like you walk in there like you're on the 13th floor, but it's like the 5th 13th floor.
Yeah, this is 13th floor number 1.
I got goats.
13th room.
I got goats in my chat talking about wet dreams.
Wow. Okay.
Apparently ghosts make him happy.
Have you guys ever had any encounters with the paranormal?
Yeah.
I had many.
Yeah, I've had just one. So
I've had some fucked up ones, man.
Nick's probably got better stories than I do. Mine's really not fucked up. It just threw me off. So just real quick, and I think I've already told this story, but I'll make it real quick. So I started working security at Marriott part-time when I was in college. So I was on the night shift, and the only people that were there was one front desk person, me, and a mechanical engineer. That's it. Just us three. So I was there, and on the property, there's a really old Southern style mansion that was built in I think literally the early 1900s, if not the late 1800s. And they use it for wedding receptions and shit. So what I have to do is go there at 2 a.m. and lock it all up. Well, my first few nights, there's an alarm system in it because the doors are so fucking jank, like anyone could just break in. So there's an alarm system on it, and they go off constantly. Well, anyway, they fail to tell me that a lot of employees have left that job because of a ghost in that mansion. They didn't tell me that, obviously, otherwise I would have taken the fucking job.
Under the requirements.
Yeah, that should be some job description. You may have to see a fucking ghost once or twice.
You'd figure that'd be at least worth like an extra 25 cents an hour.
Yeah, something like that. And so every time I went in there, I had you just had a really bad feeling. So I feel like a lot of people have never physically seen a ghost, but they've been somewhere where they just did not have a good feeling.
Yeah.
So that was me every time I went in there. But I'm kind of skittish anyway, and it's a really fucking creepy place. So anyway, one night of course, it's cliche as it is, it was storming. And I get a call from the alarm company saying, "Hey, you've got an alarm in the mansion." And I was like, "Fucking wonderful." Well, it's windy outside, so I was like, "Great, a door just opened up." So I go to the mansion. On the back side, the door's open, so I go in, I lock it. Well, obviously, the alarm doesn't stop. And the alarm is in the basement for some reason. So I go to the basement to shut the alarm off. It shuts up, and then I hear the stairs above the basement, like, make a noise. So I was like, it's just the wind. So I come out, but I'm security. I got to check it. I got to make sure no one actually broke into it. I turn the fucking corner, look up the stairs, and there's a fucking girl standing on top of the stairs. And the funny thing is that she didn't really look like a ghost, but I immediately just got that feeling. Like, this is not right. Something's not. So I just fucking bolted. I literally ran out of the front door, and I left it open, and I went to the maintenance guy, and I said, "Dude, you got to come back to the mansion with me." He was laughing. He said, "Oh, okay, you saw the ghost, didn't you?" I said, "That motherfucker, what?" And yeah, that's pretty much my story. But yeah, we went back, shut it up, and since I knew about her, I would not go to that mansion anymore by myself. I just won't do it. I will never go to that mansion alone at night ever again. And I hope I never go to that mansion again. But yeah, apparently the story is that it is haunted by a teenage-ish girl who committed suicide in the house a long time ago.
Oh shit! I've got, and what's funny is my most, like, a couple of my freakiest things weren't even whenever I was ghost hunting. It was at one of my old jobs, and it's just as fucking cliche as the old hotel or the old mansion. It's fucking theaters, like
those damn theaters,
like theater, like, you know, fucking perform on stage theater. And so basically, the Civic Center complex, the Globe News Center for the Performing Arts, the whole fucking deal, for some reason, is fucked up. I know why the Globe News Center's fucked up. There used to be an old hotel on those grounds.
Again, in a hotel.
Always at hotels.
Telling you.
What the strange story is, and actually, I guess I'll like kind of like lead off with this one. So on those grounds, it was called the Amarillo Hotel, right? It was like this big, huge 5-star. It was built in the early 1910s. You know, it was the second largest hotel between Dallas and Denver, next to the Herring that's right across the street. It's a massive fucking hotel. It still stands. But it got shut down, condemned, and all this shit. And they finally tore it down in the 80s. But up until that point, they had like a lot of hookers used to take their johns in there and get murdered. Like fucking, I think like 40 or 50 fucking hookers were murdered.
You would think after like 10, they would, you know,
they would learn.
We shouldn't go there.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Of course, Nick. Of course, of all the ghosts, Nick sees a hooker one.
Well, no, but they used to, you know, so there was a ton of, you know, grisly fucking hooker murders and stuff in this place. And then they finally tore it down in the 80s and stuff, and it was set as just a fucking parking lot for the Civic Center for years until the early 2000s, whenever they built the Globe News Center for the Performing Arts on that site. And there are still aspects of that building underground, like the old bank vault kind of deal that they had down there and all that shit. They just kind of like covered over it. But one night, I was part of the production management team, so I had keys to both fucking buildings, every room, all that shit, you know.
Yes.
And one night, me and a buddy of mine that also worked there decided we were going to go in to the Globe News Center, turn on the lights, fucking turn on the sound system, sit on the stage, and just fucking jam. Right?
Right.
And so we're sitting there, we're jamming, we're playing and all this shit. We had like all the house lights on, the fucking stage lights, like it, had it kind of set up as a quasi show. And we're sitting there, we're playing and we're jamming. And I sit there and I look out towards where the audience goes, and I just see this big fucking shadowy figure all of a sudden appear in the balcony.
God,
it
creeps me out.
And I was like, what? And I kept on playing, and I was like, maybe it's just like something weird with the lights, but then it started moving.
Or maybe it's the LSD kicking in.
Yeah, that could be too. But no, it started moving across the seats, and you could see like the seats disappear slightly behind it and shit, like it was walking down the aisle. And so we're like, fuck this. We're out of here.
We're done.
So we start packing up the microphones, our guitars, all that fucking shit, the stage monitors. Dude, we're fucking hauling ass trying to get all this stuff put up. And we fucking haul ass back to the backstage entrance door, get to the entrance door, and there's like this dense fog where you can't even see all the way across the fucking parking lot, but it looks like it's being blown by 100-mile-an-hour wind. Blowing across the parking lot. And I kind of like peeked my head out the door. And the weirdest thing was it started at one end of the parking lot and ended at the other end of the parking lot.
That's it. It didn't go like past the parking lot or anything?
No, it didn't go past the parking lot at all. There was a fucking hard line at the start of the parking lot, a hard line at the end of the parking lot. And this all of a sudden, it's in there blowing. Me and him were both sitting there like, what the fuck is going on?
Wait, are we on a really bad trip, or what the fuck was in the juice?
There, whoa, all this fucking shit. And then as quickly as it fucking started, just disappears.
See, part of me is kind of glad that I actually just saw like kind of like a little girl instead of shit like that. Because had I turned the corner and I looked up the stairs and saw a black shadowy figure, I might have literally passed out. Oh, yeah. I feel like a lot of people will never see one, but they've just had experiences. Now, a real quick, and I mean really quick story. My buddy Dustin was staying in a house in Savannah, Georgia, which Savannah is historically haunted.
Yeah,
and
I would believe that.
So, and this kid has never lied to me in his life, so I believe him. So he took a picture of the house as they were leaving. And I kind of do the same thing. Like if I go on vacation and I'll take a picture of like everything around. Well, he took a picture of the house and he zoomed in on a window and you can clearly see just a fucked up looking face. And I'm like, who was in the house? He said, nobody. I was the last one to leave the house. And he said, it didn't hit me until I took that picture that the night before I was asleep. And when I woke up the next morning, my mom asked me, why were you making so much racket upstairs last night? He was like, I wasn't. I was asleep all last night. And I was like, yeah, you've got a picture of a fucking ghost. And I'm going to need to delete this shit out because he sent it to me. I'm deleting this shit right now before my fucking phone starts levitating in front of me or all some kinds of crazy shit. And dude, it was the creepiest picture I've ever seen. I'll see if I can get him to send it to me again, and I will literally show you all when I get it. It is fucking creepy.
I mean, pictures like that, I'm kind of like usually unimpressed by them because I mean that could just be pareidolia. What?
So I'm showing it on my stream. You can see he took the picture, and there is something behind them holding its head. So there's his. I probably shouldn't have shown his mom and dad on live, but it's the quality shit.
Hold on, I need to see your fucking.
I put it in the Discord.
Oh, in the Discord?
On the Discord.
Yeah. So you all could see it. So they were the only ones in the house. He swears on his life. They were the only two in the house at the time. Everyone else was outside. So I'll show it again.
Wow. Okay, that's not just a face. That's a fucking like a hooded figure kind of thing. Like,
oh yeah.
So there we go.
I'm gonna show it in the deal here and tell me what you guys think.
Yeah. So there you go. That is probably like it gives me goosebumps. I have to delete it. I cannot sit and look. It gives me the fucking creeps every time I see it.
Oh yeah, just like you can easily see that thing too, and it's not like a glare or anything.
Yeah, well, I think, and I could be wrong because I was wrong about the people in the house, but I think that he said he didn't really notice it at first. But then, like, later, as he was looking through pictures, he was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? He thought it was a glare. He was like, it must be glare. And he zoomed in. He was like, that's a fucked up glare if it's a glare.
And then EG says it looks like a little girl screaming.
Yeah. He said he didn't notice it until a couple of years later. So a couple of years.
I don't know. If like whenever I die, if there's a way for me to become a ghost and fuck with people, I'm gonna do it.
Well, the problem, see, I thought that too at first, and I was like, that'd be kind of cool. But at the same time, I would say a majority, if you're a ghost, you died a pretty shitty death.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily.
I mean, I know not necessarily. I'm not saying, Casper's fucking flying around putting flowers in my hair instead of dicks. But, I mean, for the most part, I'm convinced, for the most part, if you're a ghost, you're stuck in the void because you had a fucked up death, and there's just no way to put you to rest, and you're fucked.
I mean, that would make sense because a lot of times in those like haunting stories, you hear, "Oh, this person died of this grisly, like in this grisly form." So,
like, it's never like, "Oh, they died peacefully in their sleep, and they haunt this place at night." No, it's always like, "Oh, they had a fucking ice pick shoved up their asshole or something." Like, it's always something crazy. Like the one I saw, she hung herself. That's a pretty emotional death,
Well,
like
I think that almost maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be a grisly death.
Yeah,
but I think that maybe
a disturbed death.
Yeah.
Well, not even necessarily a disturbed death. I think that maybe a lot of times people are able to come, like, mentally or physically or spiritually come to terms with their fucking impending mortality before they die. Like, they kind of know it's coming.
Yeah.
But if you die a quick fucking death where you didn't have a chance to really fucking face that or come to terms with that, then maybe that does some shit where it fucking, like, traps you here somehow or something.
Yeah, because you have heard story, and that was going to be the next place I talked about, most haunted places in Kentucky. So there's a place, just piggybacking off what Nick said, called Sleepy Hollow and Devil's Point Road, where apparently someone was killed, and if you go in the middle of the night, you can hear like cries. So it's not always like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you." Sometimes it's just somebody had a really emotional death or something like that, and they're still mourning. It's not that they're always trying to kill you. But with that Sleepy Hollow Road place, people were sacrificed, and there was a lot of satanic shit that went on. So there's probably some other issues involved in that as well.
Stuff happening.
I legit want to want to live stream ghost hunts on fucking Twitch. I've never seen anybody do it.
I know. I'm afraid to do ghost hunts because I'm afraid some shit will stick to me and I'm gonna bring it back home. That's my problem.
Only thing that's gonna stick to you if I can follow you home's me, baby.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for the night. We're at 11 or 10, whatever, an hour into the stream. So this was fun. We got to continue this because obviously we can't cover every paranormal place in one stream. So we'll probably bring this up again at a later date. And thank you all for sticking around.
Yeah.